Welcome back to the Redline Report, powered by HireMaster. I'm Shasta Jones. Today, we're talking about a new bill that will allow younger drivers to move freight at ports, what's in store for 2023, trends and regulations, keys to success for carriers, and more. In the news last week, legislation aimed to allow younger commercial drivers to transport freight from ports. The bill was recently introduced in the U.S. House of Representatives, led by Representative Brian Mast. The Ceasing Age-Based CAB Trucking Restrictions Act would classify certain statewide freight operations linked to ports as in-state matters. In a statement on January 10th, Mast said, quote, "For the better part of 2 years, families have struggled to get the goods they need, from baby formula to toilet paper, and Joe Biden has failed to fix it." End quote. Truckers who are 18 to 20 years old are allowed to drive commercial vehicles in intrastate commerce in nearly every state and the District of Columbia. However, these drivers are prohibited from transporting freight originating from U.S. ports of entry. Such ports are considered interstate commerce. Changing that classification at ports would pave the way for truck drivers 18 to 20 years old to transport freight from these facilities. A member of the transportation panel, Representative Burgess Owens of Utah, commented on the bill, stating, quote, "America's supply chain is in crisis. Struggling businesses in Utah and across the nation require immediate action to ease these harmful disruptions and rebound from key product shortages." End quote. The Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, is working to improve the careers in the professions that power our supply chain. For example, building new truck parking so that drivers can get safe rest, and launching the Women of Trucking Advisory Board to help support half of America's talent and not miss out on a generation of great drivers because women aren't supported in their career, as well as investing to help veterans get opportunities to enter the transportation workforce debt-free. A lot of people are probably wondering what's in store for the 2023 truck market, and we are too. Truck production and sales increased in 2022, and while it won't fall off a cliff in 2023, the coming year still promises some uncertainty, of course. Key variables for the year ahead include whether unmet demand for new equipment continues, the state of freight volumes and carrier profitability, and the potential for further disruptions to recovering supply chains, all of which will determine how many orders heavy-duty truck makers slot and how many trucks they build and then sell. Jonathan Starks, CEO of the transportation intelligence firm FTR, said, quote, "While the freight markets remain lackluster at the moment, there is still a significant need to replace aging equipment. This will help sustain high production and sales volumes well into 2023, building on truck makers' strong improvement over the last several months in getting completed units out the door." End quote. Another industry analyst weighed in on the most likely customers for new trucks this year. Dan Clark, head of vehicle and equipment finance at BMO Commercial Bank, said, quote, "Looking ahead into the first half of 2023, we expect most of the incremental demand for heavy-duty trucks to continue to come from larger fleets, at least until spot freight rates find a bottom, which may not happen until well into the new year." End quote. Despite the uncertainty surrounding freight demand and the broader economy, truck manufacturers and industry suppliers are investing heavily in new products, alternative power, and emerging technologies. Are you at a standstill not meeting your monthly hire goals? Let HireMaster's account team step in and assist in your hire goals while we use our full arsenal of products. Don't struggle alone when you have a full team to support you. Let's talk. After the pandemic pushed truckload rates into record-setting highs, the freight marketplace entered a down cycle in 2022. This puts motor carriers in a different position, entering the new year and a new look into a carrier's success. Higher expenses affect all businesses, but motor carriers operating in the spot market have felt the pain more than most, caught between falling line haul rates and climbing cost. For typical long-haul carriers, diesel prices rose 42% in the first 11 months of 2022, and the national average was above $5 per gallon for 33 out of 48 weeks. When you hear numbers like that, no wonder this has created a higher base operating cost compared to past freight cycles. Currently, those costs for a long-haul, small fleet carrier or owner-operator are between $1.70 per mile and $2.05 per mile. Obviously, depending on the length of time in the industry, equity levels, and insurance cost. There should be some relief on the revenue side of the ledger by mid-year, with truckload rates expected to rebound in Q2. But the focus for 2023 will be on the expense side of the books. With thinner margins, carriers will need maximum asset utilization. That means reducing empty miles, emphasizing fuel economy, and coordinating with their customers to reduce dwell times as much as possible. There are the usual suspects when it comes to truck market disruptions: hurricanes, snowstorms, etc. But we can add recession, labor shortages, inflation, and international conflict to the list. So while we expect traditional seasonal patterns to reestablish themselves in the coming year, these key variables could quickly change the truck market. In other words, the need for flexibility never goes away. Here are just a few trucking trends and upcoming regulations we will see in the new year. While the U.S. economy appears to be heading into a recession, there is no clear consensus on either the degree or the duration. Inflation remained high at 8.2% year over year in September, dropping slightly in October. The next is fuel cost. We have all felt the pain here. Diesel prices dropped in late summer, but stayed above $5 per gallon throughout fall. Though diesel is cheaper than it was a year ago, it remains close to its pre-2022 record price set in 2008. Nearly all American goods travel via truck, and inflated diesel prices drive inflation upward. And last, interest rates. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates in November. This was the 6th increase of the year and the 4th consecutive time the hike was 0.75%, a dramatic increase. This suggests that there will be a recession of some degree in 2023. As far as regulations go, speed limiters for commercial trucks is at the top of the list. A new bill would require all new commercial trucks with a gross weight of 26,001 pounds or more to be equipped with speed limiting devices, which must be set to a maximum speed of 65 miles per hour and be used at all times while in operation. Existing trucks of that size would be grandfathered into this law. The United States is one of the only developed nations without this regulation. On January 30th, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration Agency was expected to publish an advance notice of a newly proposed rule that would change how motor carriers are scored on safety. FMCSA is seeking information on how the agency might use data and resources more effectively to identify unfit motor carriers and to remove them from the nation's roadways, the report stated. FMCSA would seek public comment about the use of available safety data, including inspection data, in determining carrier fitness to operate. Let's start the new year with a sustainable resolution. A positive and overall good culture at work goes beyond the four walls of your office. Let the culture and general sense of appreciation extend to the hardworking drivers on the road. Make every employee feel informed and communicate with them about the big picture. Provide growth and challenges with your team. Promote optimism. A little goes a long way. The workplace culture within your company can have an enormous impact on the success and safety performance of your business. Influencing a workplace culture positively requires members of management to be effective leaders. In return, their support of a positive workplace culture will improve productivity and quality, as well as encourage safe attitudes and behaviors. A company with a positive culture will also attract top-tier talent and will have higher employee retention rates. Thank you for joining us for this week's Redline Report. I'm Shasta Jones. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to catch each episode of the Redline Report, powered by HireMaster. See you next week.